It started with I adopted my own kids out of foster care about 7 years ago, and when about 3 years into it, I started working on a script to tell the story because it it's a story that needs a lot more light shed on it, and in particular, positive light. So I also at that time started sitting down with a lot of other adoptive families and the kids that had been adopted out of foster care, and Mairead was one of them. And Mairead just really impressed me and made me think differently about the character of Lizzie. And I started sending her drafts of the script, and she became an official consultant on the movie.
Well, when I would have meetings with Sean, I tell him all the time they were like therapy sessions. I would tell him everything that happened growing up. And then he just used those emotions and my experiences as an inspiration for the Lizzie character. So I could really relate to everything that she was going through, her relationships with her parents or Mark and Rose's characters. But there's not too many specifics that like the same actions that I experienced growing up, and so watching it was really inspiring actually, just to see her so strong throughout this journey, and it was really a rewarding experience to watch.
I think you just try to make sure that they're honest in the way that they're approaching every situation. And with Pete and Ellie, what I love about Pete and Ellie is that, first of all, I love that they love each other, that they're not one of those standard, sort of the Bickersons kind of married couples that are just supposed to be at each other's throats all the time. Because my wife and I get along pretty well. But of course, this situation of having three kids in our house, out of nowhere, it caused a lot of tension between us as well. But we tried to approach everything with Pete and Ellie and really all the characters in the movie just from what are the real emotions that people are experiencing in that situation. And lucky for us, these emotions that sometimes are very complex and sometimes very heartbreaking and sad, there's also a lot of comedy there too, because it's just such an awkward situation for everybody involved when you don't know your kids yet. I mean, it's a real thing. The support group, the classes, the involvement with the social workers, it's all that's kind of how it works. So you have these social workers that are sort of these sage characters in your life who kind of guide you through, but they can't do it for you. And then you have these other parents and they're going through a lot of the same difficulties that you're going through, and you get together with them and share your struggles and your triumphs, and all of that stuff is very real.
I mean, I remember when my parents would go to the sessions, and I would kind of cringe because I knew that they were just going to be complaining to all these people about all the things I had done. And then I'd have to see those people knowing that they know everything about me. But
They probably said a few nice things.
but then yeah, I also had my own sessions, and the social workers are kind of a liaison between the kids and the parents. So I would work with the same social workers or talk to the same social workers that my parents would talk to.
Well, the situation it's just a difficult situation because the kids that are coming into your home from foster care, that means that they've been let down by either all or most of the adults in their life. And now these new adults come into their life and tell you, "We want to love you. We want to be your parents." And the kids don't have any reason to trust you, and they a lot of times don't even feel like they need parents because they've never had them before. In fact, a lot of these kids feel like they are parents themselves. So um, so there is a lot of pushback, and it is really difficult. And what it comes down to are the parents trying to prove themselves as somebody who is going to love these kids no matter what, and give those kids the thing that the rest of us all take for granted, that unconditional love. First of all, Mark has a teenage daughter and he has younger children as well. So Mark was right in it with the a lot of the same ages, and in both the good and the bad of that. And then Rose, when she came in, the first thing she did was sit down with my wife and sat down with a bunch of adoptive moms, including Mairead's mom at some point, I believe. And then of course we had Mairead there. And Mairead would always be there available to talk to them and to share what Lizzie might be feeling, or even what she felt her mother was feeling at certain times. So they had a lot of advice, but I think Mark and Rose really understood these characters from pretty early on. I stayed up really late at night rewriting this email to Mark, because I wasn't sure if he would do this. It's a very different tone than the other movies that we've done. So I sent him this email late at night. Then the next morning I got up early and I took my kids to flag football, and we were in the parking lot and there was nobody there because I was too early, and Mark called. So I jumped out of the car and I was excited, and he immediately just said yes. He said, "Hey, I got your email. Yeah, I'm in. I'm definitely going to do this movie." He starts telling me stories about kids that he'd met along the way and about how this mattered to him. It was amazing. So I get off the phone and I'm so excited. I get in the car and my kids can see how happy I am. And they said, "What?" And I said, "Mark Wahlberg is going to do the adoption movie." And they were like, "Yay! Who's Mark Wahlberg?" And I said, he's Dusty from Daddy's Home. And they said, "Oh, great. Okay, we love Dusty." And then my wife called and said, "You know that flag football's tomorrow, right?" And so I drove to an empty parking lot, got a yes from Mark Wahlberg, and drove home. But he's been that way from the very beginning and all the way through, so supportive of the whole project. He still is now. We're out promoting it. He's promoting the heck out of it. And it's something that really means a lot to him as well.